The most important question is, do you have the time? Because that's really what it takes, is time. Do you have time to respond to the tenants in a timely fashion when they have problems? Do you have a list of vendors that you can turn to if there's something that needs to be taken care of at the property? And do you have the time to stay on top of all the ever-changing laws, regulations that pertain to landlord-tenant laws? I think what happens with a lot of landlords is they're more concerned about vacancies, because when they have a vacancy, all they can think about is that's lost income, which is important to try to fill a vacancy as quickly as possible, obviously, but it's also important that you don't rush to fill it and then get a bad tenant in the process of rushing. And that's what I see a lot of self-managed landlords. The biggest risks are that you put somebody in there that's not going to take care of your property, that you put somebody in there that's not going to pay the rent, and then you end up having to go through an eviction process, which is very costly, or you don't know how to deal with them not following the terms of their lease. Like maybe they bring in a dog, or they bring in additional roommates, or they, God forbid, we've seen this in this county, they start some kind of an illegal operation, something going on inside the house. So do you have systems in place to do periodic checks? Do you know how to uncover potential problems, before they slap you in the face? Because a lot of times what will happen is landlords think no news is good news. They get the rent on time, so they assume that everything's great. They don't do periodic checks of the property, and then the next thing they know, they're getting a call from the sheriff's office that there's something going on in their home that they didn't know about. Or they've got, people living in the home that were not authorized to be there. So there's a lot more than just making sure that they pay their rent on time. I just want to make sure that everybody does their part. And this is what I tell property owners, and I tell tenants. I give them all the same kind of lecture at the beginning of our relationship. So, the tenant's responsible for doing certain things, the owner's responsible for doing certain things, I'm responsible for doing certain things. As long as everybody's doing their job, we're all going to have a great outcome. It's when somebody of those three players isn't doing their job, that's when we have to have a sit-down conversation. And I've had those conversations with owners, I've had those conversations with tenants, I've had those conversations with my own staff, because everybody has a part that they have to play. And so what I like is to see where everybody's, getting the outcome that they want. The tenant has a nice place to live, and if something goes wrong, that they know it's going to be taken care of. The owner's happy because they have a tenant that's taking care of their property and they're getting their rent on time. And then that's when I enjoy my job, is when everybody's doing their part.